This is one of the last pieces of Zaha Hadid's work and influences. It's called the 1000 Museum. It's a high-rise residential condominium completed in 2019. It's a 62-story building, and it's one of the tallest buildings in Miami, Florida. An amazing feature of the building is the curving exoskeleton. You can see by these lines here on the outside, allowing the interior space to have fewer columns. Traditionally, most skyscrapers have these columns and structures throughout the building. What they decided to do with this is they call it an exoskeleton. Now, an exoskeleton is a term. It means external skeleton. Again, the support's on the outside of the building as opposed to what would be on the inside of the building. This is very similar to what you would find in insects, shellfish, things like that. So as humans, we're considered an internal skeleton, an endoskeleton. Our skeleton, our bones are on the inside of our body. But some creatures, like I said, shellfish and insects, have their hard shell on the outside of the body. So this is the same principle. It's called an exoskeleton structure. Okay, again, still has this Hadid curvatures and lines that there's no straight lines just about. Everything has this nice curvature to it, but it's structural, very structural. Okay, there's also a museum. There's a YouTube video here on the skyscraper on some of their construction, which again is really, really good. So I recommend take a look at that. And now we're going to try and see what we can do about drawing this. What we're going to also do with this, which is going to be interesting, is we're also going to show you a different style, a little bit different style of how to draw something like a skyscraper, okay? And what happens is when you're doing something, let's see, I'll do it up here in the upper corner here, so we can just give this a look, okay? When you want to do a 3-point, we're talking about doing 3-point perspectives. Now here's your horizon line, there's your vanishing points, okay? Now if I want to look like something that's really, really tall, I actually can put another point up here at the top. Let me show you. And so I can actually draw lines this way. Okay, so I can draw lines like this, I can draw lines like that, and like this. See this? So by putting a vanishing point above it, like in the sky, then I've actually created this illusion that things are going away from me. So the top becomes much smaller, the base obviously larger. I'm picking up my vanishing points on the outside here. There's my horizon line, right? But I put a third line up here, and again, it gives me this feeling of things are just larger than life, okay? Again, people down here would be like little ants, cars, streets, things like that. And so that would be a very good characteristic for doing skyscrapers. Again, you put the horizon line above, and you draw these lines down like this, okay? So in a sense, that's what we're gonna be doing on this piece. So on this piece, you can tell that here's our base, and the line goes straight up the top. The line goes straight up to here. And at some point down here, it comes back down, and this is thinner, and this is wider down here. So we want this wider, and it goes thinner like this, okay? So that's kind of the idea behind, again, having this third dot or third horizon point that's actually in the sky. That makes us look like this building is actually converging this way. It looks taller. So we're going to take a look at this. Again, same thing here. I always like to start with the center line. Okay. We're going to have our horizon coming through here. Pretty much street level. Point here, a point way up here. Again, we can kind of do a little bit of a box shape. Thin at the top, large base down here. So you want it thicker down here, thinner up here, okay? What I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on just this front piece here first. Comes down here, splits away. Converges in here, splits back out to the base. So I'm just going to take this in little pieces. This looks like this is the entryway. Why do you put some little people? You can see in the drawing here some people. There's cars going by. So I'm going to get the center, just that thing closest to us. So the detail here, the detail closest to us, I'm going to make sure that's how we start the rest of the drawing. Then we can work on, let's say, this side. We'll start on this side, okay? This curves around. This comes down here. This is this part. But we also have another line that comes out in here and converges here like this. This piece in here. So again, what you might expect to see on the inside of the structure when they're building it, large pillars in this design, and you'll see it in the video, really is about the outside design is the structure. Okay, but again, thin at the top, wide at the base. Okay, we've got some. Going to put these lines in here so I can see where the front and the side is. And the side goes this way. This should connect there. I know it's very complicated, but it's a great challenge. And you can begin in some of your own ways to look at this. There we go. So, again, thin at the top, this way. Towards the base, so it has this nice thin to thick at the base. It looks like it's very, very large, very tall, which it is. It's, like I said, one of the largest buildings in Miami. Some of the details here, these are little terraces, you know, obviously you're looking at. A little detail here. You can tell that these are probably where, you know, these are where some of the rooms are. Again, it's a condominium, okay? I'm sure there's a museum down below here, but there's a condo. So these are all rooms. And again, they all go actually kind of at a slant this way. Because remember, we're actually picking up these horizon lines and details this way. So this is going to be like that. And they kind of meet here in that corner. So we got the main structure done. Now we're going to maybe do some light lines here where we're going to look at the windows. Okay, because again, these lines are coming down to here. Okay, so if we're just too complicated, let's start to add some stronger values. And at least she's got this down here at the base. This looks like some very dark glass and some structures down here. So let's go ahead, we'll just go ahead and okay, we'll do this. Sorry, I got some loud neighbors next door. Okay, let me go close that door. lines are doing this. Okay, so we got this side. You can tell this is one side, this is the other side. But you can also tell this is the lighter side. So we've got the sun hitting this side. So just to make sure we understand, and this is the shadow side. So what we're gonna do, since I've already started going my lines this way, I'm gonna basically put a light series, just sort of just gonna darken one half of this like this. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna start the base and make it a little bit darker as it goes dark here to light. There we go. So you got two faces. So you see how this, so you see the face here. This is the light side. This is the dark side here, and the light side on this side. This is where the sun is on this side. Okay. And we're just going to go in and just spend some time and just detail this out just a little bit. And then we have, again, this terrace. And we just make that side just a little bit darker here. See? When doing organic shapes, it's very interesting how you define light and darks, because it actually gets very complex, because not as simple as doing blocks, right? But again, it's very similar principles. So if you're doing a cylinder, this were a cylinder this way, this side would be dark. And this would be the light side over here. See this? So again, the sun would hit this side of the cylinder, and it would hit this. So when you're doing organic shapes, run the pencil this way, like a tube. See, we made a tube. Here's our dark side, here's our light side. So when you're doing organic shapes, it's very similar, okay? The tube and making these complex looking shapes. And we'll put a few more details in on this side. A little more stronger detail on the exoskeleton pieces. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good rendition. Now, when you're doing a piece of architecture like this, pull back just a little bit, it's not necessary to do all the other buildings around you. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the street in, put in some trees. Now again, this is, you're showing scale, so the trees are going to be very small in comparison to this very, very large building. So our landscaping is really small. We can put little dots, kind of like this. Looks like people. Here's our trees. We might even put, this is our street here. Might even put some cars in here. And they've got to be little tiny cars, right? Two little wheels. There's the top of the car. Because there we go. Especially a little indication of some cars, some people, walking along the street here, the sidewalk, and again, maybe some trees that line the sidewalk here on the outside. But when you're drawing a piece of architecture, you don't necessarily need to draw all the other pieces around it. You just want to work on that one piece that's special, make it look like, make that detail work for you. And I think this is pretty close. Again, don't forget your name. And that finishes our assignment for today. Okay, I want to thank you very much. I do have one last little video. I just wanted to go over some, I just wanted to do a recap of a lot of our assignments here and leave you with that. So there'll be one last video you can take a look at here that'll go real quick. Okay, again, thank you so much for your class time. Thank you so much. You're a great class. I really enjoy seeing the work you're doing, and your progress has been fantastic. So I'm sure we'll be in touch. Thank you.